Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships and Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are in the Tirpitz or the Tirpitz, whichever one you want to call it. We're on Land of Fire and we are going to do the best we can. Now, I've been playing the Tirpitz quite a bit recently, trying to get you guys video, and in that, I've discovered some of the things that not only I do wrong, but other people do wrong in these German battleships with torpedoes, and had a bit of a revelation, in which case I started using the guns like a battleship. Like, so often I tried to force my way into getting torps off, and so often I fail, miserably, in fact. And so I started thinking, what if I just stop trying to torp people unless it's convenient for me? And this match is kind of a showcase of that. What if I just put myself in position to take advantage of people if they do try to get into position to get torped, but also put myself in a position to do damage even with these extremely inaccurate guns. Now, don't get me wrong, I am running the Celiac's full dispersion build, or full secondary build. So, I've got the ridiculous range on the secondaries, I've got no accuracy whatsoever out of the main guns, and I have those torps just in case we get to a point where we might actually be able to use them. But this match was more of a showcase of, can I actually manage to get into position and get consistent damage out of this ship without forcing the torpedoes. And of course, that shot from the Mogami there just proved exactly why I refuse to use this as a sole torpedo boat. And that is, every single time I'm in this thing, the first time I get shot, it knocks out the torpedo tube that is closest to the person that I'm trying to torp, which is very inconvenient and can really throw your game plan off. So from now on, when I'm in the Tirpitz, I will take advantage of opportunities to torp people, don't get me wrong, but it is no longer the sole purpose that I am in it. I'm using this kind of like the Bismarck. I'm going to get close, I'm going to let the secondaries whittle away at people, start fires, that sort of thing, but I'm also getting close enough that the turtleback armor allows itself to work. And in my opinion, since the last update that was armor related, the Tirpitz's armor has been fixed. It's not overpowered. It's not like you can sit there broadside on at 15 kilometers and expect not to get paddled. You're gonna get paddled. But if you use it sensibly, if you're using your ship in a decent way, and I actually got a little too close to this island, but we're going to try to see if we can shoot over it anyway. I've been pushing myself up here to this island recently, if there's no destroyers on my side of the map. And this is why I want to get myself into a position where I can actually shoot over the island, get some damage, and keep myself, mostly undetected / out of harm's way. But notice I'm not just going, all the way. There's a phrase that we use here in the U.S. Maybe you guys use it as well. I don't know. It's slightly inappropriate, so I apologize ahead of time, but I'm not going balls deep into the enemy team hoping to torpedo people. I will take it if they give it to me, but it's no longer my sole purpose in the Tirpitz. My sole purpose in the Tirpitz is to get... Oh my god, we just citadeled it. It's a Nagato. It's going to happen. But anyway, we're pushing forward, keeping the enemy from capping C, because they're not going to get anywhere. This Nagato's crazy, but he did the right thing. As soon as he realized I pushed out, he immediately started sailing away from me, which means he got outside of my torp range pretty quick. Technically, he's still inside torp range, but because he's sailing away, they wouldn't catch him in time, and I apologize. I don't know what it is about me recording lately, but every single time I start to talk, I just immediately have to yawn. I don't know why. I'm not even tired. Probably won't go to bed until late tonight. Also, hopefully, well, of course, by the time you guys see this, the Mudrunner video will have been up already, but my god, that video's taking forever to upload. Started uploading at midnight on Monday night, and it is still uploading, and it is 9 o'clock, or almost 9 o'clock, Tuesday night. So almost 24 hours of uploading a 13 gigabyte video. It's pretty ridiculous. But that's what you get when you try to upload super high quality 4K video. You're welcome. Oops, there went my mouse. Hopefully I don't need that. Anyway, so as you can see, everybody in the game knows what the Tirpitz, knows what the Gneisenau, knows what the Scharnhorst is capable of, and they refuse to get close. They refuse. They literally will do everything in their power to get distance between you and them. And they solely rely on the fact that you're going to miss them more than they're going to miss you, because German accuracy, when you're not running a dispersion build, is horrendous, and most of the time will troll the crap out of you. And not to mention, German armor piercing isn't the greatest, and you will likely bounce or shatter off of people at even easy angles to penetrate. So there's that. However, what you will notice is we're getting quite a few secondary hits. I mean, he's a battleship, and he's definitely well within secondary range. He gets a nice hit on us there, but because we're in the full tank build slash, secondary build, we're able to take it. We have 5 heals. 5 heals with this thing. Plus, our damage control's pretty good as far as the reload on that. So you don't have to worry as much about damage. You just get close enough to start working them over. As you get hits, you'll get hits, and you work them over as best you can. We take it and destroy one of his main batteries, but we did a lot of damage that time, or did some damage at that time. And now he's pretty much doomed at this point. Surely I'll kill him with this. And down he goes. So you can see that we've had a pretty decent game. I mean, I'm not breaking any records, that's for sure. It's not going to be a 150, 180,000 damage game, but there's still targets out there, and there's still, anybody's ball game. I say that because my team is not bright. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen, but you'll see what I mean in a moment. And the time it takes me, and there goes our Hakatsuki, and the time it takes me to cross the map to make myself in position, which, by the way, is the one downside even worse than dispersion on a tank build, is just the lack of firing range in your battleship. That is the one part of a secondary build slash tank build that I cannot stand, even more so than dispersion. The dispersion I can live with, because you get lucky and you get games where the dispersion, even when you're not in a dispersion build, is just ridiculous. And sometimes that dispersion actually helps you more than it hurts you. But in this case, the range hurts a lot, because instead of being able to reach out to 19 kilometers or 18.5 kilometers, I have to wait till I'm inside 15 kilometers. And yes, it does help with being able to actually hit things, because when you don't have a dispersion build, there are 2 types of dispersion when you're firing your guns. This may come as a surprise to people. Spartan's talking about like actual things that are real, like an actual part of the game mechanic. Oh my god, what is this? You are not Spartan. What have you done with him? Anyway, so as I said, you can see I switched to high explosive here because I was anticipating that Jean Bart staying facing me, and because he has very minimal armor plating on his deck, the high explosive is actually the better choice if he's bow tanking me. But luckily he realizes he was giving me a full broadside. I can't take advantage of it anyway, and then I get 4 hits with high explosive on the side of his ship. So not a bad one. We did get some secondaries, unfortunately. But now we are moving inside that secondary range, and he is under attack relentlessly. But the Jean Bart and the Richelieu are no joke either when it comes to secondaries. They have just as many, if not more. I can't remember the exact numbers, but they have a ridiculous number, and they are all big guns. I think they're 150s, aren't they? So they're no joke. And as you can see, our secondaries are pummeling him, and I was switching sides just in case I needed to torp him. and luckily our teammate finished him off. But notice how close the game has gotten. We have a cruiser and 3 battleships. They have 2 battleships. Well, they had a 3rd and a cruiser. So it was tied for a moment, even though we had the lead by a lot not too long ago. But we still have the points lead, and these guys are not long for this world because at this point they're sailing out in 1 versus 3 or 1 versus 4 situations. So it's not a good situation for them to put themselves in. But anyway, back to the game, the dispersion mechanic. There are 2 types of dispersion when you fire your shells. There is horizontal dispersion, where your shells will spread out side to side. And there is vertical dispersion, where your shells will literally miss both sides of the ship. It's annoying as crap. And honestly, horizontal dispersion is nothing. Anybody can live with horizontal dispersion. It's the vertical dispersion that screws you so badly. And, yeah, with that being said, the Germans suffer really badly from the vertical dispersion curse, which is where you fire your guns and those shells just completely miss the target on both sides of the ship. And you're just like, yep, that's how that works. And here's another chance where I have a broadside Jean Bart, and I cannot take advantage of it because he is not in range. But the Charles Martel decides to show himself, so I'm like, I'll take the shot at him. He's a lightly armored cruiser giving me too much of an angle. Should be Citadel City. And we miss. Really? That looked like a pretty decent salvo, like dispersion-wise. And of course our Leon sails right into the Charles Martel's torpedoes, and now it is a 2 versus 3. They could win this if they don't screw it up. And by screwing it up, that would be exactly what the Jean Bart's about to do. Now the Jean Bart was headed full steam ahead behind that mountain. And honestly, there's not a lot of time left, so I can understand him trying to push the issue. However, he doesn't have a whole lot of health. He's taken quite a beating. In the time it took him to go through, he got punched in the mouth by somebody. And he has no health left. And we're waiting for our opportunity to actually engage him. The Charles Martel slipped out the backside as well. And the Jean Bart could easily destroy our cruiser. But we're not going to give him a chance. We take the shot. The friendly battleship had just hit him, took most of his health, and we finish him off. And that gives us 1,000 points. And we win the match. So, we didn't actually get to torp anybody. We launched torps at the Jean Bart. He immediately turned and dodged them because that's what people do. But we still placed top of the leaderboard. 3 kills, almost 100,000 damage with 123 secondary hits and 2 planes shot down. So not bad. We did everything that we were supposed to do. We took damage from people. We used our heals to the best of our ability, and we managed to win our side and push across the map to be effective for the majority of the match. Even if we're not doing the most damage. Just the fact that we're there being shot at and we're not dying is enough to give your team the advantage sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.